Wait. Before you go disliking the video, I swear this is not rage bait. I'm just here to propose a question and bring a conversation. Okay, so before you get to raging, maybe you could hear me out. I just want to have a conversation. I just want to have a discussion. I'm not here to rage at anybody. So before you go out disliking, tell me I need to get arrested for my opinion. I think maybe you can just hear me out.
Boring.
No, damn it. I know this video is kind of an uphill battle and a random one at that, considering Bloodborne's been out for more than 10 years now, so there's no real particular reason to make this video at this point in time, or the fact that I am claiming some negatives to Bloodborne, I guess you could say. Just for the fact that Bloodborne has been universally praised for years upon years. It's the reason I went ahead and went out to go out and play it. And as everybody knows, From Software has some of the most die-hard fans. At the end of the day, the hardest From Software boss is a From Software fan themselves. So I'm getting myself into a lot of shit in this video, let's be honest.
Some people out there that are definitely ultra sensitive about this game and they want me to praise absolutely every single thing about it. But it's my playthrough, I'm enjoying it. I do enjoy the game, I absolutely do. It's a Souls game. It's a love-hate thing, but in the end, it makes that love even stronger.
Bloodborne has been out for a decade now, and it's universally known as one of the best From Software games. It's the second highest rated one on Metacritic, if I'm not mistaken, only being behind, of course, Elden Ring. And it's truly seen as From Software's magnum opus to their games, of course not including Elden Ring. So why am I not staying silent, and why am I making this video? Well, the answer is simple. Because I hate myself. Now, I come from a unique perspective. Everybody told me to play Bloodborne and give this game a try because they had said it was the greatest thing of all time. They said it was the best Sony exclusive. They said it was the best From Software game. They said it was one of the best difficult games of all time. They said it had the best boss fights in a video game ever. They said it had some of the fastest gameplay in a video game as well. So I was of course intrigued to play the game, and so with all that, I went into Bloodborne with these high expectations, and many people would say that's my fault, and I understand why you would say that or think that. It's kind of impossible to go into Bloodborne without any previous notions, just because the game is so well known. As for me personally, I didn't know much about From Software games, but Bloodborne was the one that always stood out. Maybe because it was a PlayStation exclusive, and people tend to always put PlayStation exclusives on a certain pedestal, so that's why it always was in my peripheral. But my friends continued to pressure me, and I seen the fans always talking about Bloodborne, even to this day saying how much they want to remake and remaster. So I said, you know what, I need to go try Bloodborne and give it a shot. And I did indeed take on the challenge of Bloodborne, including its DLC as well. And to make sure I got the full experience possible, I went ahead and platinumed the game just to know I did everything possible in the game, so there's no mistakes on my opinions. And as you can see by the title of the video, I'm saying, is Bloodborne overrated? Again, that is a question, that is not a statement. So again, before you go out attacking me, I'm just proposing the question, and I'm going to talk about some of the critiques of Bloodborne 10 years later. Hey, who knows, maybe I'm just doing this to bring a conversation to the game because we need a remaster / remake for this game. So I'm just over here talking about it. That can't be anything bad. Hey, Bloodborne videos, you like it, I like it, let's do it. For some more context to me with From Software games, I never gave them a particular chance because I was always intimidated by the difficulty factor, but I brought it upon myself recently to play all the From Software games. The plan is to platinum every From Software game, and then by the end of it, rank them by difficulty and as how good each video game is compared to one another. So as for the From Software games I have played Demon's Souls the remake and, Bloodborne. Okay, yeah, so I know you're probably going to say that's a weird way to go about it, but again, if people are saying this is one of the best ones, why would I not start with one of the best? I had to start off with Demon's Souls because that's just the first one, right? I had to understand where From Software games started. Granted, it is remake, so it has a little bit of a privilege in looking so much better, but I had to start off with Demon's Souls. And then I said, okay, let me start off with what many say is one of the best ones. Not Elden Ring, because I do plan to save that one for last, as I truly think that will be the magnum opus of From Software games. But anyways, this is a Bloodborne video, so let's stick to Bloodborne. Again, like I said, I have a unique perspective in that I played Demon's Souls, which many would consider the worst From Software game, and I played Bloodborne, which many would consider the best From Software game. I also played Demon's Souls, which many would consider the slowest From Software game.
That's fine. Come here. Okay. Them 10s hurt, huh? They hurt, right? Ah! Shit! That's a crit. Oh, that was a good one. I ain't gonna lie, but you got away.
And I played Bloodborne, which many would consider the fastest From Software game. So I also have that weird perspective where I have the complete polar opposites of From Software games. So I have a unique perspective in that sense. Getting into Bloodborne was a very unique experience, and not just for the fact that you have to switch your mindset into what kind of game it is. I was more so talking about the graphical sense of Bloodborne. And I suppose that'd be my initial critique, is the fact that, oh man, this game needs a remaster because dear God, those graphics are horrific. The first thing that stands out for Bloodborne, unfortunately, is the fucking horrific graphics in the 2015 era that it did come out in, the PS4 era.
Oh, please don't tell me this is the graphics. This look.
I don't know, man.
I was advertised a much prettier game.
Yeah,
What
totally.
the fuck is going on here?
I would say there was no particular excuses at that time, just for the fact that in 2015 there still was good looking games. I mean, there was plenty of PS3 games that look better than Bloodborne. And I know that's gonna give me a lot of flack, but I mean, From Software games are known for not having the best graphics. It's only till now that they're starting to look fairly good. I would never say they look great like anything of the top echelon of games. And I know to the people that say, oh, graphics don't matter, whatever, I'm not being a snob about it. It's not crazy to say that graphics do enhance an experience. They do make it overall look more pretty. And that's not me attacking the game's art direction per se. Aesthetically, the game looks incredible, and that's what got me into it. You've heard it a million times. The Victorian Gothic style is a delight to look at.
Oi, oi. Oi, oi.
The aesthetics of the weapons, the guns, the outfits, the world, the buildings, it's all perfect. I wouldn't particularly go as far to say the bosses, which is what I'll get into later, but graphically, dear God, this game needs a remake and a remaster. It was so hard to bypass not just the 30 FPS cap that the game's stuck on, but the way the game fucking looks disgusting, I'm gonna be honest. And a lot of people might say, well, the game's supposed to look disgusting, but dear God, when I got into the character creator, I think we all had that universal experience of that kind of sigh or that, When we load up the character creation, I just remember loading it up and being like, oh, dear God. Just because I was presented with some of the ugliest graphics that 2015 had to present itself.
Oh my goodness, the graphics.
But I'm not hating on it too much. I don't want to harp on the graphics too much, but I have to be honest, like when I started, and oh dear God, the aliasing was the thickest I've ever seen. And again, that 30 FPS and the fact that it drops below 30 FPS, I mean, visually it was tearing my brain apart just trying to bypass that at first, but I didn't end up getting past that. And when I bypassed my graphical qualms with the game, I was able to end up just appreciating the aesthetics and the art direction and the art style of Bloodborne. Then we go on to gameplay.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
This is the bread and butter of Bloodborne. This is why everyone raves about the game. It's why it has a 92 on Metacritic. And it is a delight once you get into the rhythm of Bloodborne. But I'm not here to tell you what's so good about Bloodborne, because you know that already. You've played it, you've seen it in reviews, you already know the gameplay. Why would I talk about that? But I'm here to talk about something that I want to know if anybody ever had any particular criticisms with the combat of Bloodborne. For if there was ever to be a remake and remaster of Bloodborne, which there will be, and I will get onto it later. See, the parry system in Bloodborne, I do believe, is a little flawed. And whoa, hold on there. Here, can't just please relax, please calm down. Well, my initial problems with the parry system is Bloodborne promotes a fast-paced gameplay, right? That's the whole point. It's supposed to be get in the face, be reckless, be twitchy, just be on point, be fast, be cognitive, just fast-paced gameplay, right? So it was unfortunate to see when I was initially presented with the parry mechanic that is the gun, but it is unholstered at a very slow rate, and that was something that was really weird to get used to. It was almost like you had to slow down your reaction time in order to learn the parrying system. And for anyone that's gonna say, oh, you're a shit gamer, you're a bot, whatever, you can see right here, I'm gonna play in the videos, my parries are pretty good if you do ask me. I'm joking, obviously I'm not the best Bloodborne player, but you can see I do know how to parry in the game once I trained my brain to kind of slow down, which is already weird when you're presented with a game that's supposed to be very fast paced. Then not to mention visceral attacks. You see, visceral attacks are done after you do the parrying system. It puts the enemies in a vulnerable position. Then you press your right bumper and then you proceed to stab your enemy and boom, almost one shot them depending on what the enemy is and how much health they have. Once you nail those parry and visceral attacks, oh dear God, is it the most satisfying thing ever. But the timing on it was awkward as well. You literally have to parry the enemy, then wait 2 to 5 milliseconds and then go in for the stab. That was such a cluster fucking brain get passive of having to wait after you hit that parry. And I don't know if anybody else had problems with that. I went to go see some other reviews and nobody really complained about it until I stumbled upon some streamers and YouTubers that did talk about the little delay from parry to visceral attack, and there was some qualms with that as well. And for a game that promotes such fast-paced gameplay, I was kind of confused at the fact that if I almost feel like I should be able to instantly parry, like as soon as I click it, it should be finite, it should be exact, just like the parrying systems in the Dark Souls and Demon Souls games. And people might say, well, those parrying systems are awful, this game promotes it more. The thing that many might not like about the Dark Souls and Demon Souls, I'm gonna just say Demon Souls more so since that's the one I played, what that parrying system did, you have to be precise, but it is very reactive. It's very instant as soon as you hit the parrying attack. In Bloodborne, it was odd to see the delay in the parry before it executed, and then on top of that, you gotta wait till you can attack right back. It should just be instant, and that was a big frustration. So for if there ever was to be a remake and a remaster, I think that should be touched to where it's like you just press the parry button, he shoots it instantly, just boom, just a quick flick, because it's supposed to be fast paced, and then you should be able to instantly visceral attack. There shouldn't have to be that weird delay. And again, if you played Bloodborne, you know about the delay from parry to visceral attack that I'm talking about. That moment in time, that finite milliseconds. Oh, okay, yeah. But other than that, the gameplay of Bloodborne was fantastic. It is so jaw-dropping, satisfying to get the parries, visceral attacks, the blunt weapon, the saw cleaver. It's such an iconic weapon. Again, I just have to emphasize how much this game has some of the most unique weapons in a video game, hands down, ever. I think it's awesome, but I do think it is a little overrated, I guess you can say, in the sense of how people exaggerate about this game being fast-paced when it has many things that don't imply that or don't incentivize that. Granted, they have things like the rally system that do incentivize fast-paced gameplay and sticking in the face and being reckless. When it was all said and done, I would not call it a flawless combat system by any means like many people presented it to be. But again, it did come out in 2015, but there are no excuses with that when I have found games, you know, prior to 2015 with perfect gameplay as well. So boss fights, of course. This is the final point that I'm going to get to with Bloodborne, because I want to make this video short and sweet. But the boss fights in Bloodborne were, this is like what basically made me want to make the video as a whole. Because if you know anything about From Software games, it's that it all comes down to the bosses. Like, your favorite From Software game is probably indicative of the bosses in that said From Software game. So for me, if you ask me Demon Souls or Bloodborne, y'all might trip out on me, but I actually like Demon Souls more. But okay, please listen. I know. Please don't kill me. The reason I like and lean more towards Demon Souls as opposed to Bloodborne is just because aesthetically I thought the bosses were more distinguishable from one another and much more memorable. Like, Flame Lurker as a whole stands out significantly more to me than any other boss in Bloodborne, if that makes sense. Like, I just remember that design perfectly. I remember the boss fight pattern like so well. The Man-Eater, Old Hero, Old King Alont, like, these bosses just in my head personally, they stick in my head more. And what I appreciate about Demon Souls is every boss looks so significantly different from one another. Like, you know what Tower Knight looks like, you know what the Penetrator looks like, you know what the Armored Spider looks like, Old King Law. It's just like, they look so different. It made it so satisfying. You wanted to get to the next boss just because you wanted to see what it looked like. And granted, people will say, well, the remake does half of the job for that, but I even think, like, if the graphics were dumbed down on Demon Souls, like just directional, like for art direction, they went out of their way to make each boss look significantly different. My biggest qualm with Bloodborne is every boss at a certain point just ended up kind of looking the same, and they kind of ended up just fighting the same. It was like, it was a man with a bunch of tentacles that were going like everywhere, fucking just flailing everywhere, and then you had to just stay in the pocket and go and just fucking started slicing like crazy. It was like no boss felt different from one another. The only ones that did, for me personally in Bloodborne, feel different was from the DLC bosses, which, you know, we can count because it is a part of the game, but it's not a part of the main game. So I can imagine my opinions on the game probably being even more negative if I never played the Old Hunter DLC, which that's crazy to think about. The Old Hunter DLC, in my opinion, carries this game, and I can see why people hold it to such a high pedestal, the DLC, because it literally has the best bosses in the game, like hands down. Orphan of Kos and Lady Maria hard carry Bloodborne like to the max. Those are the two bosses to me personally, and maybe Father Cascon, which is one of the first ones that stand out, not just aesthetically but gameplay wise. They have distinguishable patterns, they have different stages to the fight that are obvious, that you can catch up upon. Difficult but obvious. And see, that's what I love so much about Demon Souls. There was like a pattern and an obvious pattern in these bosses. Like the Flame Lurker fight, I like that, you know, okay, he's gonna do the 1-2-3 combo, you pull back, then you get your big ass hit in, pull back, he's gonna do the 1-2-3 combo, pull back, hit him. In Bloodborne, you see, it was a weird type of style. I just felt like at certain points I was just like, okay, well, they say, you know, stay in the pocket, stay in, and you definitely have to, and you just start flailing, and you just start, especially if you have a damage build in this game. I didn't do it because I found that it would make the game a little bit more boring if I just did the damage build, because I would just be slicing to break down that health meter with no sense of strategy. And you can kind of do that with more than half of the bosses in this game, and it's because it is incentivized to stay close in. When you'd see any tips on the bosses, they always said, just, you know, it's like you just stay under their fucking like ass and you just wail on their legs the whole time, and it's like kind of makes the boss not fun underneath this fucking dude wailing at his legs and his toes the whole time, which anyone would say is like just any From Software boss, but I disagree, especially in comparison to Demon Souls, where every boss felt distinguished. It's just like in this one, I didn't really feel any connection to the boss until it was Orphan of Kos and Lady Maria, because it felt, oh, I had to have a different approach to these people. Like, I can't just, you could be there and stay aggressive, but there had to be some parries bosses, there had to be some dodges, and oh man, dodges in the boss fight are a must. And Bloodborne's bosses for the main game didn't really incentivize that. It was like I said, just stay in the pocket, stay in, just keep slicing and just spamming R1 button. I mean, when you look at people playing Bloodborne, all the fights end up just kind of looking the same because they just have these high damage builds that they just stay in there and they slice and they kill their enemy in like 5-10 hits, whatever. And it's not, I suppose it's satisfying, but it's not, but to me it's not rewarding because there's no type of learning to the process of the boss. And those are the most fun bosses to me, when you have to look at it from a more strategic kind of angle and approach it differently. Okay, I'm gonna parry, I gotta dodge here, I gotta dodge here, I can counter shot here, counter shot there. Those are the best bosses for me. And Bloodborne's not really about the counterattack as much as the offense. It's not really defense, it's more offense incentivized. And I love defense in a boss fight when you gotta focus on your defense and your counter punches, your counter attacks. And for me, that was the biggest, I guess, suppose overrated aspect of Bloodborne was the bosses. And people might kill me for that, but man, like I said, I mean, there were bosses in this game I did like. For example, Lady Maria was badass, and Orphan Acosta will by far be one of the most memorable bosses for me, just because it took so many fucking tries. And I was doing that shit for a day, and I wanted to kill, I wanted to, never, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna relive my trauma again. But Orphan Acosta, you bastard, fucking bastard. So Bloodborne and Big 25, was it a bad idea to make this video? I mean, probably. I'm probably gonna get cooked for this one, but it is what it is. Hey, I'm bringing the conversation of Bloodborne and Big 2025. Who else is doing that? Let's be honest. So at least I'm bringing the conversation alive. And hey, I kind of make this video because I just want Bloodborne's conversation to stay alive, because I do truly find something very special in the game. Like I said, I like the game. I just was saying there were aspects to it that I did think were overrated, and I wanted to bring a new kind of side to the conversation, because everything that I seen of Bloodborne was just so much positive talk. And you know me, I thrive on negativity. I'm joking, obviously, but yeah, no, I truly think Bloodborne will get a remaster, because if you don't know, Bloodborne is getting an official movie, and it's not really being talked about right now because I don't think it's started production yet, if I'm not mistaken. But I am very positive that when that movie starts production, when the trailers come out, and especially when the movie comes out, why would they not drop a remaster on the side? Why would they not drop a remake on the side? You never know. And if that doesn't do it, then it will most definitely be when the PS6 comes out. They'll do another situation like Demon Souls, where it was a Sony exclusive From Software game and they made it a remake for the PS5. Why would they not do it for the PS6? It's perfect, it makes sense, and we need it. We just need it. It lines up. It's the time. Bloodborne will get a remaster, remake, I swear. If it does not get one, look, I'll say this. If Bloodborne doesn't get a remaster or remake or update of some kind, 60 FPS update, whatever, by 2030, shit, what should I do? I'll have my friend like lace me with a paintball gun or some shit. I don't know. We'll do something crazy if there's no remake, remaster, 60 FPS patch for Bloodborne by 2030, because I'm very positive that Bloodborne will get something like that by the movie when it does come out. Which, by the way, again, I just want to incentivize how amazing that movie is going to be. I'm very excited for that movie, because again, the aesthetics of Bloodborne are fantastic. But again, if it doesn't get it by then, it will get it by the PS6. I promise. You can trust me on that. Credible source, I made it up, whatever, it's gonna happen.
Source! My source is I made it up. Fuck.
Alright, that's it. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna shut up. If you guys like the Bloodborne content, keeping the conversation alive for Bloodborne, I know the diehard fans are there. I know you're there. Maybe you want to like the video, maybe you want to drop a comment, subscribe, because I'm here to post more gaming content, conversations. This is my bread and butter. I love video games. I'm always gonna keep talking about them, but then I end up talking about them for too long, so I need to stop talking. It is without a doubt Bloodborne has a true cult like following, and for good reason that I cannot deny. And for will it ever get a remaster, remake, we don't know, but I would like to say it will. But until then, we'll have to see.